When the police moved in on Miguel Mad Max Edward, they knew he was very likely armed and dangerous. He was not the sort of suspect, given the accusations against him, to be approached with kids' gloves. And they didn't. His reported sighting at the Rodney Bay Marina stoked fears that he may be planning to leave the island. Miguel Mad Max Edward had been accused of the most heinous of sexual offences and armed robbery with the use of a gun. A vowed supporter of strong policing and host of Straight Up Claudius Francis says the police could not have afforded to take chances with that sort of suspect, given his history, recent and not so recent.
If you have a certain reputation that you have ensured and you seem happy about that reputation, police have to be extra careful in your presence. But what the police must not do is to make a statement to the effect they were attacked. They actually said so. They were attacked with an offensive weapon, and you can't say what that weapon is. Or did they say dangerous? They use dangerous. And you can't say. So now, rather than people like me speaking about a menace being taken off the streets, we are instead confronted with speculation about whether it was a justified shooting. The police shouldn't do themselves that.
Francis questions the idea of police stating that Miguel Mad Max Edward was armed, particularly with them failing to specify the sort of weapon with which he threatened them. Francis says given the suspect had failed to stop when the police asked him to, and given his failure to surrender later, Miguel Mad Max Edward had effectively sealed his fate.
Had you simply said, when he reached into his waist, knowing his history, which includes assault with firearm on more than one occasion, which includes a host of other suspected robberies with firearm, any police officer, there isn't a single court in Saint Lucia, or I dare say the entire world, who would hold a police officer responsible if somebody with the reputation of Mad Max for having firearms reached for a firearm or reached to his waist and that police officer shot him even before taking out whatever it is he was going for in his waist. Reputations matter. History counts in a court of law.
The slain suspect had in the past been accused of murder and armed robbery. At the time of his death, he was wanted for armed robbery and a serious sexual offense. He was also out on bail for robbery, his alleged weapon of choice, a firearm. Despite the staunch support from the press and the public for the police action in this case, it's an inquest that will determine whether the use of lethal force by the police was justified. Saint Lucia for the HTS News Force.